and Richard is in Israel. Richard, how's the local media portraying those airstrikes last night? Morning.
Good morning, Nick. It's been a long morning, to say the least.
I'm sure it has.
Yeah. At the moment, we're now waiting for the response. We are basically under attack at the moment with the drones on the way from Iran.
Right.
They're normally going to be followed by rockets and then ballistic missiles that only take 15 minutes to get here. So we're all waiting for the sirens to kick off and to go back into our shelters.
Right. Do you have your own shelter, or is it a communal shelter? How does it work?
No, we've got our own shelter.
Right. Okay. And what typically what level of warning do you get?
We get about, with the drones, we're getting it lots of the time. We've already been told the drones will be here between probably 8:30 and 9:30 your time.
Sorry, is that this morning? So about a little under an hour away?
Yeah, they're on the way now. They've already been launched. They've been spotted over Iraq. So we know they're on the way.
Right.
And then they're followed up with the heavier weapons that move a lot quicker than the drones do. So we know
you sound almost, matter of fact over this. I wouldn't say you sound relaxed, but like this.
Well, first of all, growing up in Manchester leaves you in a very sort of, they say the only thing that's right that comes out of Manchester is our sense of humour.
Right. Okay.
So we tend to go with the flow.
You got quite a sardonic view on all of this, then, in a sense.
100%. Listen, at the end of the day, this has been building up for about 10 years now.
Right.
I did enjoy your last caller, the Iranian gentleman.
Yes, sure.
And I think it's important to know that the general view of Israelis, everyone that I've ever spoken to, holds the Iranian people with tremendous respect and a genuine belief that without this crazy government that they have, we could coexist in the same way that the Abraham Accords work with other countries in the Middle East. But you must understand the Iranians are not Arabs. The Khomeini and his people are very, very intelligent, very shrewd, very cunning. I think President Trump realised this when he started his negotiations. There is no possibility that we can allow the Iranians to be nuclear armed.
So you're supportive of what Benjamin Netanyahu ordered last night?
I'm not as an individual supporter of Benjamin Netanyahu, but this country is less than the size of Wales. These people are determined to wipe us off the face of the map. Right. And they only exist for that reason. They don't exist for the good of the people. You ask how the people could be so repressed.
Yes.
Well, all you have to look is at the poor people in Gaza who were repressed by Hamas, and who do you think taught them how to control the population of 2 million people with 25,000 terrorists?
When Tehran says, as it has this morning, there will be severe punishment, those are the words used, that you just take that on the chin. You just accept that. That's the price you guys have to pay.
The alternative is having a nuclear bomb dropped on us, which, is not really an alternative that's acceptable when you live in a country this small. We can't absorb one or two, even two nuclear weapons being dropped on this country. It's just too small. And unfortunately, did you ever see the film Independence Day?
Yeah. Yes. I'm trying to think of the Star Wars of it.
Where you had Jeff Goldblum, Will Smith was the main star.
Yeah. No, I did. Yes.
And Bill Pullman was the president. And when he was launching all these aircraft to attack the alien ship, he gave a speech before they all got in their craft. I don't know if you remember it.
Yeah.
And he says, there's one perfect line that sums up the situation in Israel today. We will not go quietly into the night.
Right. Okay.
And that's where we're holding now. This country will not allow itself to be destroyed in the way the Iranian leadership wants it to be.
You are expecting the sirens to sound in, about half an hour or so?
No, between half an hour and an hour, something like that.
I don't think I've ever done this before. When the sirens sound, will you give me a quick call?
With pleasure.
Okay, we'll put you straight to it. Unless I'm in the middle of the news or something, or an ad break, we'll put you straight to air if you could ring me. Just because it makes the story so live for everyone in the safety here of the United Kingdom. Richard, you're in Netanya, if I'm saying that correctly. I hope I don't hear from you again, if you understand what I'm saying, because if you do call me back, we'll know that the drones are on their way, are virtually there.
We're waiting on the receiving end of missiles from Iran at the moment.
Yes.
We know some have been stopped on the way, and we're waiting for the alarms again. We're woken up at 3:30 and later again with alarms.
Well, you're like Richard, an earlier caller, who told me this in the previous hour. Again, I'll say to you, Lisa, you sound very matter-of-fact about this.
Well, unfortunately, we've had quite a lot of alarms in the last year and a half, and prior to that, because we've been getting rockets continuously and continually from Gaza. But the main problem, the head of the snake, has been Iran all the time. Since 1979, they've been threatening to wipe out Israel. And we're past the 11th hour. We're almost, on the few seconds to midnight, when they are going to be able to have a number of nuclear bombs any moment. And in fact, they may already have them.
Lucile, how supportive are you of what Benjamin Netanyahu ordered last night?
The attack on Iran?
Yeah.
110%. It couldn't wait. It could not wait any longer.
I mean, the Middle East, as I said earlier, is a tinderbox, and Israel's playing with fire, isn't it?
Well, if you think that a country has the right to defend itself and its citizens, I think that's our first duty, isn't it? As a nation state, that's the first duty of the government. I just have to say, Lucile, and of course I wish you nothing but safety, you say the right to defend itself, and I can see that here, but a lot of my listeners will think, is that the same right to defend itself that we witness in Gaza? So if you want to talk about Gaza, we can talk about Gaza. Well, unfortunately, Gaza's had a regime, Hamas, which stands in Arabic for Al-Harakat al-Muqama wa al-Islamiyya, which means the Islamic uprising movement. And their stated aim has also been the destruction of Israel as an arm of Iran.
Yes.
Now, if we take the fact that they embed themselves among civilian populations and they don't wear uniform except when they want to be seen on TV, then Israel had no chance, no alternative but to attack them. Now, the thing is...
Including the innocent children.
Receiving missiles, there are women, children and men being killed there, as were people here. Now, the numbers are a problem, and nobody wants to kill. In this country, nobody wants war, and it's hard to believe that when you're looking from outside. We are a people who is desperate for peace. Now, when people have been killed there, the ratios are, if you look at 70% of the destruction of buildings there, which is the apparent total of destruction of buildings, one would have expected 1.4 million of the 2 million population of Gaza to have been killed. But Israel has purposely tried to avoid the death of civilians.
But still tens of thousands
sending
have died.
phone calls. So there are tens of thousands. Tens of thousands have died, but they'd like to kill 10 million here. That's what they were planning to do. They were planning to commit genocide.
George, the idea again that British military is training the IDF, how relaxed are you with that?
I don't know. I'm less relaxed about the fact that I'm flying to Lebanon tonight, to be honest.
Right.
So my husband's Lebanese. You and I have spoken before. And
right.
So he's there at the minute. And my point really, the reason for calling
Where have
is...
you got to get into? Beirut?
Yes.
Right.
And so the point I wanted to make was that, I've lived in the Middle East a decade, and I tell you right now, the vast, vast majority of Muslims and Christians, including my husband, will be applauding the removal of the Islamic Republic if it happens, and they applaud this. And the only ones and I know people, an ex-friend who's one of them, who's Hezbollah supporter, a Shia. It's a very small area in Beirut, and it's a very small part of the entire Middle East. And I'm talking about the Gulf right up to Jordan and Beirut. Mm-hmm. Almost everybody will be welcoming this because your previous call is right. They're holding back a dam for absolute nut jobs who want to kill people like me. I'm gay. And the irony is Israel's the only place in the entire region where gay people aren't illegal.
Yes.
And so that's the irony, is these people need to be removed. And I don't care if Israel does it, if we do it, if America does it. That republic needs to be dealt with.
George, we have spoken before. I recall you now. Would it be ridiculous to say to your husband, can we leave it till Monday?
You don't know my husband, Nick.
That's a belting line.
Basically, my take on this is we don't thank Israel enough. Now, Operation Rising Lion is paramount to the West as well.
This is the operation to combat Iran, just to explain what Rising Lion is. Yeah,
it is, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. That's all right, my job.
So, while we debate in the West and we sign ceasefire papers, Israel are taking on evil head on. And what Iran have specifically said is that they're planning to break America, Israel, all of allies, the West. They've been vocal. They've said they want to wipe out the West and cleanse the planet from the filth and that existence. So, we have the war going on in Gaza. Obviously this started by Hamas.
The latest chapter, yes, absolutely right, yes.
Yeah, October the 7th, we can all talk about apartheid and it doesn't exist, whatever. This is an Islamists who want to wipe out the West and Israel. Israel is ultimately saving the West from collapse. They were fighting a battle every day. So Operation Lion had to happen. They had to take out these nuclear facilities. And what Iran have taken over a decade to build, Israel have wiped out in a number of hours.
How supportive are you of the fact that the British military is helping to train IDF soldiers, Kenny?
They have to. It's paramount. This is not an Israel war. Israel is the dam holding the water from breaking out.
What do you think the threat is to the United Kingdom, Kenny?
What's that, sorry?
What is the threat to the United Kingdom, do you think?
Well, we have fractions over here. We've seen on the streets now with pro-Palestine, people doing Hamas signs. And
they're allowed to. Yes, I agree. Some of them overstep them up, but you're allowed to demonstrate in this country, Kenny. You wouldn't.
No, you are, but people are indoctrinated, and this is how these jihadists work. They have terror cells all over the world, and they manipulate people.
I don't know that people who go marching on Saturday are in terror cells, Kenny. Are they?
Well, listen, we've got people who are throwing Hamas signs supporting a terrorist Islamic killing machine. These people feed into it. And people like the BBC have given a green card for people to say it's okay to hate Israel, it's okay to kill Jews. And, people are being quite vocal about this.
I want to go straight to Richard, who's in Israel. We were speaking to him about a little over an hour ago, and you said that you'd come through. So presumably the alarms are sounding, are they, Richard?
Hi, Nick. Yeah, well, we've just had there's two systems in Israel for mobile phone users. One is like an advanced early warning system, which is followed up normally within about 2 minutes by the sirens going off to advise us.
So you've had the alert on your phone?
My wife has already gone off to the shelter.
Right.
And is now ringing me furiously saying, why aren't you in the shelter with me?
Go. Okay.
No, it's okay. I tend to be laid back about it.
Right.
And I've just notified my daughter and the family who are close to Jerusalem that they're going to get the early warning as well.
Okay, all right.
So,
typically, how long will you be in the shelter?
Well, you're supposed to stay there 10 minutes, but because it could be a multiple-layer attack, when the Houthis send over one ballistic missile, you have to wait 10 minutes, and then it's basically finished.
Right.
If it's an Iranian attack and they're using a multi-layer attack, then it'll be until we get another warning saying you can leave the sheltered room.
Get down there now. I don't want to cause tensions between you and your wife. Stay safe, you and all your family. Thank you, Richard, for calling in.